You done made it to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Oh, welcome to the Q. Welcome to the Queen's Corner. Pressed down, shaking together, running over. We're ready for you. You done made it to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Welcome to the Q. Welcome to the Q. Welcome to Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I'm Audrey, and I'm so excited just to be here. It is a blessing. I thank you for each and every one of you that have joined in. Thank you so much for following, for liking, for subscribing even. Thank you so much for sharing. I thank you. We appreciate the excitement and the buzz because last time that we were on here, I got a chance to chit chat with my 99-year-old grandmother. And I tell you, that was a super exciting opportunity because I don't get a chance to really sit with her in that way. It's hard. That's why I wanted to invite her in front of everyone this time and share her with you all, hoping that she would open up a little bit, and reach back and give me some nuggets that I can deposit and grow on, But she's from that era, from that time, they didn't talk about a lot of stuff like we do. We've come up in the Oprah era. We come up in the era of daytime talk shows. And we're more open in our generation and in our time. We express our feelings a little bit too much. But we have an opportunity now in the culture that we live in that we can divulge our innermost feelings with people that we barely know. It's pretty good therapy, though, because I figure if you can open up to someone and share something that is important to you, that person, you may never see them again. And so you can kind of feel okay that in that moment of sharing and exchanging your thoughts and your feelings, it's just a fleeting moment. They're going to go on their way. You're going to go on your way, but your load emotionally, it feels a little better. You can just meet perfect strangers sometimes, and all of a sudden you feel like friends. Sometimes you have an opportunity to meet someone that you've never known, but in that moment, something happens and you begin to feel like I could talk to this person. And I think that's what we really, really need. So I wanted to be that for my grandmother. I wanted to give her an opportunity to share with me some intimate details from her childhood or, when she was a young woman. I want to know her and her mindset from that time because now we're in a whole different day. And she can't really understand the things that we're going through and experiencing. I mean, she tries to keep up. She really does. She listens to a lot of the news, and she is an avid TV watcher at this stage in the game. We have to have that TV for her and for Mama. If the power go out, I don't worry about the food as much as I worry about the TV. As much as I worry about that TV going on, baby. It's important for us to have something to offset the other things that are taking place. Mom has dementia. My mom is 79, and she was diagnosed with dementia probably in 2020, officially. But I think I've been knowing about it. I really have my suspicions, but I think I really said, yeah, this is it. This is what it is, about 2017, 2018. But even with me suspecting dementia, which they haven't really given a medical reason for it, but it's something like your mind goes on a little sabbatical. But it was around that time, around 2018-ish, that I began to notice that some things were really not clicking well. And I just remember having a talk with my mom. We were in a car dealership there in Palm Springs, and she said, let's stop over here and we're just going to look. We walked in, and a salesman approached us. Mom indicated to me that she wanted to go into the office and discuss all the financial matters without me. But she signaled for me to stay outside of the office. I'm kind of like, huh? You know, she didn't want me to know all her business, where her money and all this and that and the other. And I said, you know, one day I'm going to have to know anyway, because I may have to take care of you. At that time, I remember it was so distinct. She said, honey, you ain't going to never have to take care of me. She said that, and I was like, okay, cool. Good. Oh, because I was in agreement that, you know, maybe that would not be a good idea anyway. But that's how parents are. They are very independent minded, and they want to keep their financial information as best they can to themselves. They don't want you to know. I'm like that too. Even now, I'm like that too. But now, knowing what I do know, hey, this is 2026, just 8 years later, and look at where we are. I had to go and get my mom and bring her to live with me. I went to California and I brought her to Chicago, and she's been with me ever since. And the thought really didn't stay in my mind to put her in any kind of living situation where she would have to have independent care outside of the home. Because I just cannot give the care for someone I love that has been so important to me over to others when I felt so strongly that this was something that I needed to do. Maybe the tracks had already been kind of laid. I'm thinking maybe because when I was in my early 20s, I had my mother's mother and my mother's father. And so Grandpa passed, and I came home from work and found him. He was gone and passed in his sleep. And I just remember feeling like this is overwhelming. I had 2 small children. Kelly, my oldest, was probably only like 5 at the time. Keela was a baby. So I had the 2 children, and then I still had Grandma, my mother's mom. And so that was how I was kind of prepared early on for what was to come later. I kind of had that idea that when the time came, it was going to fall in my lap. My dad passed. And so my grandmother Beatrice was still living in Chicago. And she's been like the rock. She is the rock. She's still the rock. So I never could really see her at that point. But something told me to prepare. And if the time came, be ready to move back home. So I was kind of prepared, given a script, you could say, kind of a precursor to what was going to come. But nothing makes you ready. I remember there was a lady at a gas station what made me kind of have a clue. Older lady, white lady. And she seemed like she needed some assistance, kind of sitting in a car but confused. She had a little dog in the back seat, and she was trying to get directions to take her dog to, I guess, the veterinarian for an appointment. And some said, try to help her. I saw some paperwork, and it looked like the dog had already been to the veterinarian hours ago. She had already taken him. But in her mind, that hadn't taken place. And so she was thinking she was en route. And then in talking to her, she was giving me information about where she worked. I didn't know her from the man in the moon, but I'm trying to help her because she seemed really lost and disoriented. So I called and I looked up the place that she worked. And that place was a school that had been out of business for years. So that let me know that I was dealing with someone who was mentally incapacitated and lost, turned around. And my heart at that moment just wanted to help her. I mean, if I could have, I would have gone through her phone and called everybody in the phone to let somebody that knows her know. But as it turns out, I couldn't get anybody on the phone. And I don't know, some kind of a way, I found her address and wrote the instructions on how to get there and told her as best I could. God blessed her. And she went on. We exchanged information, and I worried about that lady. But God told me, that's your mother right now. That's how I knew. That's how God talks to me. He has to spell it out so that there's no room for doubt. Let me know. Is this you, God? First of all, is this you, God? Okay. Now you say I got to do what? Say you're going to have to go get your mother because your mother's out there in California just like that. Yeah. So it's not really clear signs. They're little signs. But by us living so far away from each other, I didn't really pick up on it until many years later. And I've had some time to kind of think about it. And the only thing I can really see is that sadness suppressed. When you go through things in life and you suppress the expression of how you really feel, you play it down for the folks in the room. You don't want nobody to really know how life is really impacting you. So you kind of stuff it someplace. And I think that's what happened to my mom. Because I remember her husband had passed in about 2009. And again, like I'm thinking she's busy with church and she's got Mary Kay and she's got, community where she lived, but she didn't have family, close family. And so none of us was around her during the most tragic, traumatizing time when her husband of 25 plus years passed on after a lengthy illness. So I'm thinking now, how sad that she had to go through this alone. And so many other things that she may have experienced in her early life, which is why I want to talk to Grandma, because I know as women, we go through stuff. We didn't have the benefit of therapy, which is most needed in our families, but we didn't have the opportunity to have someone to vent to. We talked to God. Talk to God, talk to one another, talk to ourselves, that's about it. And I'm too much like that right now. Because right now, talking outside of myself is not easy. Even now, I'm talking to you all. But it ain't easy. I want to tell you, it's not easy. But it helps. I was talking to a friend and she was like, I'm just talking to myself. And I'm like, that's good. That's a good place to start, to talk to yourself, especially when you need expert advice. That's the place to start, is to talk to yourself, because you have to hear yourself say what you feel. A lot of times when we internalize it, well, it's in our head and we don't speak it where it resonates, where we can really, really feel like it's been validated. And that's, I think, the beauty of having a friend that you can share with, or a confidant. But in today's society, we don't know who we can trust. You say something that's heavy on your heart, and the next thing you know, you scroll on Facebook and you might just see it. You just don't know. So I wish that I could have been a better community for my mother and even for my grandmother, because I only looked at her as one way, as grandma. I never seen her as a woman like me. I never seen her as a woman struggling to understand life. I never seen her struggle, because she's always been, to me, such a strong woman in her faith. I've only ever seen her talk about trusting in the Lord, but the intricate details of day-to-day living, some kind of way, it just kind of gets glossed over. And so I'm at this stage in my life right now. I'm not glossing over anything. I am really trying to get the understanding out of each and every situation that I encounter, so that if it's a learning experience, a teaching moment, I want to get it. I don't want to miss no teaching moments, because I don't want to have to repeat the lessons. If this was something that God was using to get a message to me, then I don't want to miss it, right? So I'm trying this new thing of talking it out, not suppressing my feelings or my thoughts or my emotions. Whatever comes up, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come out, because it hurts. We are all collectively right now going through so much, so many things are going on in the world that we live in, and the communities, and the news is devastating. I mean, if you stay plugged in, you can't do nothing but hurt. When you hear the news of an 18-year-old going out with friends for the 4th of July, Nolan Xavier Wells. And on the 4th of July, this young man went out to Horn Island in Mississippi, I believe it was, and he never came home. They found his body about 2 days later. But there's so many unanswered questions about that thing that's unsettling to all of us. And we will not rest until we find the truth, because somebody knows what happened. Somebody knows all the details of what happened to that young man. And it's just on the heels of another tragic situation involving Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. And in that situation, different details, but in the end, a young man was killed. And then this young man, Carmelo, claimed self-defense and fear for his safety, and went through the trial. And in less than 3 hours, I believe it was, they had sentenced him to 35 years in prison. So I'm sad all the way around. I'm sad for those that have lost their lives to death and then to imprisonment. I'm just asking God to give us some understanding in the things that we're going through, but allow us to get the understanding without being so overwhelmed in our spirit to the point where we just kind of stuck. Because it's been days after hearing this, and I'm not related to Nolan Xavier. Personally, I don't know him. But the news impacted me so that I was devastated for days, and still am, that it felt like my own son. You let your children go out with friends to enjoy themselves, and you don't want to be overprotective. You don't want to project your fears onto them about the things that you know to be true in the world that we are in. You know that there are vicious and vile people that will use any opportunity they can to make a petty statement. You know that there are people that are so disturbed in their mind, they thrive off of the hatred, right? You know that this is a season where so many things are escalating because of racism. You know that there are so many situations that are trying to cause us to go backward to an era of time where we were steeped in it, Jim Crow. And it seems like the days are trying to turn around to where we have come from. Not that it's over, not that the racism ever ended, but the hatred that people have for one another, it is very real. People are expressing exactly how they feel, and it's being compounded. There's things that add to it, that when it finally comes out, that anger, that bitterness, that venom, when it finally spews out, it's catastrophic, because we're sitting here every day being bombarded with news that would crush any normal person. I mean, to hear news of women being found hanging from trees, things that would just break your heart, layer upon layer, layer upon layer. Then when you don't feel safe in your country, because of the leadership. You don't feel safe. You feel vulnerable at every turn. You turn on the news and you hear nothing but chaos. It's triggering. We're in a time, yes, but we got to breathe. I'm telling you, this is a time where we have to breathe. And we have to assess what's going on and know it seems like there is some overt manipulation. I don't know why people feel like there would be anything to gain from triggering a mass group of people and unleashing fear and hateful rhetoric from everywhere. In the music, the language is designed, I'm thinking, to cause your nervous system, first of all, to just implode. Number one, they say there's a thing called energy harvesting, where enough energy is generated, then it's a force, and it causes things to shift, even spiritually. And I don't think that enough people really realize how powerful your energy is. Whether you're laughing, that's energy. If you're laughing, You don't see it, but it's shifting the atmosphere in the room. When you're smiling or when you're creating jokes and creating an atmosphere of joviality, I would say, it stimulates goodwill, makes people feel good, makes people feel happy. That's energy. Same way, negative energy, tears, emotion, sadness, anguish, anger, that's energy. And it has a force that will cause things to shift. Somebody knows some things. They're not necessarily sharing it with us. But I believe that the powers that be know the importance and the power of energy. And we have to likewise learn how to protect our energy, how to guard our energy. It's sacred. And when you find yourself being caught up in something deliberate, it's good if you can tell, because then you can choose how to react to it. When you know you're being played or when you know your emotional strings are being pulled, then you can discern that, I'm not going to react in the same way because it's deliberate, and what is really happening is somebody's trying to siphon my energy. There's energy vampires. But when you are aware of what's going on, then you can make a conscientious decision that I'm not going to trip. I'm not going to trip. And you kind of stay rooted and grounded and neutral. And don't expend that energy that was demanded of you through that situation. It's crucial because we're living in a time where everything's trying to stimulate our emotions and everything's trying to get a rise out of our emotions, whether it be, sports or whether it be fights. Or I'll use social media for an example. Social media is kind of like life in a sense. You got your device, you're just scrolling, normal, and you just hit a video. Oh, there's a lot of fighting and cussing going on in this video, and you pause because it got your attention. You see people pulling hair and flipping on the floor and cussing each other out, and you're like, well, I don't want to really watch this, but now it's got your undivided attention because what? It's interesting. It's something different, and now it's got you locked in. But you start reacting to what you're visualizing or what you're actually seeing. And all of a sudden, your heart's racing because now you're physically feeling the emotions and the effects of that which you're watching on this screen, right? You want to jump through the screen. Oh, you want to jump in there and get you now. You so mad now because of this craziness you just watched on this device, right? Now you want to go fight somebody. There's nobody to fight. So you suppress it. You think it goes away? It stimulated something. It opened up something inside of you. It deposited something in you. Just that one video. You had a reaction to it. It did what it was sent to do. It got your attention and you had a reaction, good, bad, or indifferent. But that's what media, social media, radio, television, written, even music, it conjures emotions. It simulates emotions and gives us the opportunity to escape into the image that has been created. The music will transport you someplace. The movies will take you someplace. The books you read will take you someplace. It's just time for us to really choose where I want to go and how I want to preserve myself. I want to preserve my heart. I don't want to go to bed at night mad at the world or upset or sad because of something I saw on social media or something I watched on TV. This movie that's trending on Netflix, The Polygamist. I have not watched it yet, and I will not watch it. I was thinking about putting it on for Mama, and I was like, well, I'm going to put it on for her, and I'm not going to even watch it. Because at the end of the day, I don't want my emotions stimulated in that way. I'm not going to go down 22 episodes of madness and call it entertainment. I'm just not. Because I live that life almost. You know, I've been in relationships that ended up foul and bitter and angry, where people weren't faithful. So why I want to relive it through a movie? I just won't subject myself to that, but I see that we allow ourselves to be entertained in this way by thrillers and by movies that are so scary that you don't even want to sleep in your own house by yourself because you just then open up a portal, turn on the TV and watch some movie now that's scared the bejeebies out. Now you can't sleep. And now you to the point where you want to call somebody in to pray for you and lay hands on you. This stuff is real. My mom was over the top with it. I thought she was a little over the top with it. When back in the day, she would come to my house and she would throw all the VHS tapes away. You know, we had little movies for the kids. And she threw Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus. She's like, ah! No. She threw it away. But we had 2 copies of it. And so when she came back over, she said, I thought I threw this one away. Threw it away again. I'm like, I'm tired of you throwing my tapes away. But she didn't play because she felt, and she always did tell us, you know, me and my brothers, when we were growing up, you entertain this stuff, this garbage. This is garbage. And if you allow yourself, then it's going to get in you. You allow yourself to entertain it. Then you become just like that. There's some truth to that. I don't know if I want to call it an epidemic, but it seems like everybody knows somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's. We just heard the disturbing news about Danny Glover. The love Danny Glover. We love him, love him, love him, love him. But to hear he had Alzheimer's, I believe it's the early stages of it, but he's cognizant enough to know he wants to take control of the narrative of telling his own story. And I applaud him for doing that. It's just so devastating, though, that you're so vibrant and able to remember and recite whole scripts and to get to a place where you won't even be able to perhaps remember the names of your loved ones and family members. It's sad. I don't know what is causing it, but it seems a bit unusual that memories are being stripped away. I see them as just stripped away. It's like, why wouldn't you want us to remember? I mean, to remember someone, and it's not just them, it's the memories that come with knowing. It's the knowledge, it's the experiences that you draw from when you can recall something. Truth comes from being able to recall something. I pray, I ask God, let me keep my mind, because I feel so sad sometimes. I miss my mama, and she right here with me. I don't like to complain. I tell God, thank you. And I still have my mama and my grandmother. And I thank God for that opportunity, but I miss my mom. I miss her as she was. The vibrant spirit, the laughter, the understanding. She was my mama. See, my mama. And so some of the traits are still there. Of course, she's still there, but she can't express it the way she used to, right? She can't acknowledge me the way she used to. Some days, after she's kept me up all night, you know, woke me up 3 o'clock in the morning, walking all through the house and turning on the lights and doing all kind of stuff, walking outside the house. Later on, she'll see me sitting alone and she'll say, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And I just look at her because I'm like, "Are you yanking my chain? You kept me up all night long and got the nerve to be asking me, am I all right?" And I was like, "No, I'm not all right. No, I'm not all right. I want to lash out. I want to cry. How can I be all right when I ain't got no sleep? How can I be all right?" And her face is just like so peaceful. She got this little smile. How can you be angry at somebody that's looking like that? I wake up, she upstairs or outside And then I'll be so mad. And then I look at her, I said, what are you doing out here? And she goes, yeah, come on, let's go. Okay. She's so sweet with it. Like, how can you be mad at somebody that's so sweet with it? But I'm thinking I'm being played because you had so much sense to maneuver your body up 3 flights of stairs or down to the basement or out the doors. And you're so determined to do these things in the middle of the night when you know people are sleeping. That takes a level of cognition to me. That takes some thinking, especially when I tell you no. So I can't fight with a person that's only half demented. She ain't all gone. A lot of her is still intact, but she chooses when she wants to use it, when it's convenient, when she don't want to get around and she just wants to sit there and don't want to get up and do the things I'm asking her to do. And she acts like she don't hear a word I'm saying or don't understand. To me, it's willful. And I kind of took it personal. I said, you're just trying to pay me back. I know you're in there and I know you're trying to just pay me back. Okay, for the mess I did when I was young. Okay, now it's payback time. But you know what? So we kind of still mother and daughter in this thing. But I miss my mom. And so sometimes there's a moment of clarity and she seems to recognize me. I said, I love you, Mom. It's because I love you too. Love you, Doug. I love you too. She's still in there. So that's another reason why I can't give the care of my mom to a home or someone else outside of myself, because then that would mean I'm going to be over there 24/7 wherever she is. That's going to cause me to do much more running back and forth when I would just rather have her at home and save myself the time, the wear and the tear. But Grandma don't know she need help. Grandma 99, and she ain't never asked for no help yet. She still want to wash her clothes in a bathtub. If I wash her blankets and her sheets and pillow cases, she wants to pay me. She wants to pay me for bringing her food. She wants to pay me. That's the mindset of a person who doesn't want it to be said that anybody had to do anything for me. She can still get in and out of the tub. She just said to me the other day, I think I better put the chair in the tub. Isn't that something? I think we need the chair at 99, almost 100. Yeah. She bathes herself. That's a level of pride and determination I've never seen. I've never seen it. If I bring her food, she wants to come and wash the dishes. I don't want you to wash the dishes, Grandma. I wash the dishes because, number one, she can have. But she's like, I'm going to wash these dishes. So first I was trying to keep her from washing dishes because I'm just going to have to wash them over because she can't see. But she's like, I'm going to wash the dishes. And she wasn't asking me. She was telling me, I'm going to wash the dishes. Okay. So I could be in there cooking. And here she comes. She's got this routine. She wants to empty the garbage and she wants to take the cans. We recycle cans. We put them in a separate container, right, for her. She empties them out. That's her thing. And every day she looks forward to it. And if she comes into the kitchen and I say, there's no dishes to wash, she's kind of disappointed. So I leave a few dishes in the sink every day for my grandmother to wash. You know, because she needs to be utilized. She needs to feel like she's still important, like she's still a valued member of the house. And she is. Even though she's 99, bent over, I mean, this woman is strong. Strong-willed, really. No major medical issues. Just her legs are weak. She says her legs are not able to really support the weight of her body. And that's mainly because I'm feeding her too much. And if I would just cut down on the amount of the size of the portions of the food that I'm bringing her, then she could lose some weight. And then her legs would work a little better. So, of course, I just smile. I'm at a place now where I just do a lot of smiling. I don't get an opportunity to express how I feel as much to the people around me because I don't really understand. I mean, grandma can't hear. She can hear what she want to hear, selective hearing. When she don't want to hear, she starts talking about how her ears all stopped up. Oh, you got her ear stopped up in the head and she can't, huh? She can't hear that. They played a nut roll. I'm seeing there's so many cute ways to get out of being in a conversation that you don't want to have. I'm learning a lot, but when I try to really have a sit down conversation with Grandma Beatrice, she's just not interested. She's just not interested. She deflects, and all she's going to say is, the Lord will make a way. God bless you. To me, that's like, I don't want to go there with you. But I pray one day you find out all that you want to know. Lord have mercy. Thank you so much for taking this time to listen to me just share my thoughts and my feelings about the things that matter most to me. I hope it matters to you. So much going on. We coming back, y'all. We coming back. Thank y'all so much for joining in with me on today. Remember, like, subscribe, share, and follow on YouTube and Facebook. You done made it to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Oh, welcome to the queue. Welcome to the Queen's Corner. Queen Mother, Queen Mother.